Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Matt, and you've reached King Trident's Tribe. Hello, Tribe. How's that Good Vibes Soul Tribe on this beautiful Friday morning, afternoon? Maybe it's a Saturday where you are, or maybe you watch this video later on and it's a different day. But either way, hopefully you had a awesome day. Um, I'm gonna save the announcements. I do have one thing, and I will timestamp this video. I'm gonna make this short. Um, but I just want to give my appreciation for everyone that has subscribed to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I'm very appreciative for all the subs and to be able to assist you along your journey. And, I have much gratitude for you guys. So thank you once again. I'm very appreciative. And with that, that's basically all of my intro. So I made that under a minute. And so we're going to go ahead and get into the message. So today we're going to talk about when your DM transitions into a king, and basically how will you know and what is the experience like being in this energy. So let's get into it. This is a very broad topic because once your DM reaches their king energy, they have so much depth and become multi-dimensional. So one of the things that I would like to point out is that it's almost nearly impossible for me to list all the qualities and the energy of what it's like to be in the presence of a DM that's transitioned into being a king. The one thing that I can tell you is that I always talk about the caterpillar analogy and about the transition process to get there for the DM and for the DF. But once he finally makes that process out of the cocoon into a beautiful butterfly, he is basically just he's really awesome. I mean, because everybody really wants to be around him, not because he's like very popular or anything. It's just the energy that he exudes out to the world. He's very respectable. He gives you respect, and earns your respect and gives you respect. At the same time, he's done his deliberate development, self-improvement, personal healing, which is extremely awesome. And he continues down that path of continuously evolving, continuously working on himself. And he's balanced his holy trinity, his mind, body, and soul. Those two things by itself is kind of how he gets to that transition phase. There's a few other things that go along with that, like some of the experiences that he's went through. But by taking time to do his inner work, basically while he was in the cocoon stage, when we're talking about the caterpillar analogy, and really focusing on himself, he comes out as a beautiful butterfly, like the king butterfly. So everything, what I'm listing here is quite a bit of traits, but it's not all the traits. But at the end, I don't think you'll have any question on whether you in the presence of a king or a joker. So let's move on. So as I mentioned, when the DM reaches the king energy, they also have so much depth and become multi-dimensional that my description would be never ending. Basically, it's just like the wings of a hummingbird. It's infinity and beyond. So I use the labels king or queen to identify a DM or DF that has completed their transformation into a beautiful butterfly, which spreads love and light throughout the world, uniting humanity through the love of the divine, which unites and unifies the twin flame connection. Because ultimately, that's what it's about. That's what the twin flame journey is about. We always get caught up in the Notebook effect, the movie The Notebook. But really, what you need to focus on is it's a divine connection built on a love that most people think's non-existent. We can say unconditional love. That's probably the best word in any language to identify this love, but it really goes beyond that. I mean, I don't think there's an accurate word to be able to identify this type of love. The label king identifies a point in the DM's life that should be celebrated and understood, that he fully embodies love, L-O-V-E, on a level that is not describable by any language. The label does not mean he is more important than any other human. It's just a level of achievement within his human experience, which he has evolved. I mean, he really has evolved with a balance of his holy trinity, his mind, body, and soul as one. That's extremely important. The first thing you may notice as a king is his glow. He glows. He'll have a distinguishable, clear aura that is very calming, refreshing, and approachable. He is someone that attracts people. You know, strangers just come up to him and start talking to him because he's very approachable. His energy is extremely refreshing. And you know, it's whenever you have that energy, then they're like attracted to you. And they love to speak to him. The next thing that you might notice or might be noticeable is how he interacts with people. He is compassionate, caring, authentic, transparent, vulnerable, and extremely secure with who he is and his purpose. But he's not arrogant. You know, if you give him respect, he gives you respect. You know, he's very down to earth, and he doesn't think too highly of himself. He's confident but not egotistical, humble, appreciative. His interactions are always with love, L-O-V-E. And you might be puzzled because it's a human sight that is not experienced in this lifetime. It's a very low percentage. And I can't put a percentage on it because I don't know. But if I had to take a guess, I would say that 3% or less. It's a very rare but unique experience. When he interacts with his DF, she is treated with respect that is of a queen. His actions now, if I had to foot stomp this, his actions tell her that she is the queen without him having to verbalize it. Because when you evolve into a king or a queen, you know, you do less of talking with this and more of identifying through energy and behaviors. That's what's important. And so his behavior identifies that she is the queen, and she knows that through his actions. He has manners of the highest regards, a gentleman of the highest. The DF understands how fortunate she is to be in his presence, and this is also reciprocated by him, by the king. She feels safe, secure, and loved at all times because the king is of love. The king listens to understand. That's a very important trait right there. He listens to understand. He's not listening to respond. He's not listening because his point is most important. He always maintains a composure of being calm, cool, and collected during even the strongest storms. His strength can be felt in any darkness that tests him is met with a light that only God can create because he is of the divine. With this power, the king is able to rip the soul out of any storm that challenges him. He has extreme power because his energies within him is balanced. His DF and DM energy is balanced. You know, he can use both energies. Whenever he's challenged, then he is most in his DM energy, and he will rip the heart out of that storm. For this king has been battle tested in some of the most harshest life conditions, and is literally an example of the phoenix that has risen from the ashes. The king is able to use these experiences to assist humanity in ways that creates healing for the masses. You see, he can take the power from the greatest storm by not allowing the storm to define him, and by using the storm to educate humanity. The king is a servant of the divine and of humanity. His relationship with the Creator is undescribable. It's very important. I mean, more than just important to him. It's his purpose, and his existence requires him to maintain this connection. His perception is of a worldly view, as if he was flying at 30,000 feet above the earth at all times. He never has the perception of a telescope. The king can see the whole situation, and the king is not judgmental of others. He knows his purpose is never to judge others, for he's not the judge, but always sends love, L-O-V-E. A king's decision-making is superior to most. Usually quick, decisive, for his ability comes from his inner knowing. He relies on the little voice within himself. He always has trust, faith, and belief in the small voice within, because he knows that's his inner truth. His creative ability is on a level that leaves most baffled. It's because it's a unique sight. The creativeness process itself is a mystery, which most are very curious about, because it's very interesting and intriguing. His creative process is very superior because of his connection with the divine. And what he usually, I would say most kings would not even take credit for their creativeness, because they know that it's basically that's channeled through them as a vessel. His creativeness is always to assist humanity. This is how he shares his gifts to the world, because he loves the world and the world loves him. You see, he is of a depth that is totally undescribable, which is why I always say that you'll know if your DM is in his king energy, without a doubt. The energy is of a pure intention, because it's of love, L-O-V-E. It will leave you at an instant relief. You'll just, once you're in his presence, you'll just feel this relief. Like being as relaxed as you've ever been after the best night's sleep. The king cherishes life. Each day he opens his eyes, he instantly knows that he's been blessed. And this is his approach to life. So I leave you with this, DFs. A king takes the guessing out of the equation, because the king is the answer. His presence alone will answer any questions of whether your DM is in his king energy or not. If you have to ask yourself this question, then that's your answer. Pay attention to your intuition, and if you do that, then you'll never be wrong, because that is your inner knowing. The king is an extension of your inner knowing, which is why he is the answer. And with that, you guys, I'll leave you with this. The 3 most important things in life is peace, love, and happiness. You guys have a great day and an awesome weekend. And always remember this, listen to your inner knowing.